Dear seekers of prosperity, have you ever pondered whether it's wealth itself you desire, or the possessions it can acquire? This profound question, posed by Neville Goddard, echoes the sentiments of Blake, who inquired, why is the Bible considered the most captivating and instructive text of all? Could it be because it connects more intimately with our imagination than with our logical reasoning? This singular book, which many call the Bible, is in reality a collection of 66 books. Approach each text as if it were a deep dialogue between your soul and your superficial self, or as if it were a conversation between God and Christ, his firstborn, rather than as a mere rational reader exploring any literary work. Reflect on this idea, present in Paul's second epistle to the Corinthians. We should live our daily lives based on faith, not on what we observe around us. When our existence is governed by the visible, our future is molded from it. However, Paul proposes that we should define our destiny based on what we hope for or visualize with the eyes of our mind or imagination. In other words, when you have a clear vision of your destiny or what you aspire to be, you must not pay attention to the current physical environment, but focus solely on that vision towards which you are heading or the transformation you desire. If you remain loyal to that vision, you will soon find yourself facing it, and that faith will become your reality. And Paul adds, and that is what I do, leaving behind what is behind, I strive to reach what is ahead of me. Paul had a specific purpose in saying this, but your goal doesn't need to be the same as his. Your goal might be to become a prosperous entrepreneur. Well, it all starts in the imagination, given that man is pure imagination and God and man are one. The only distinction between God and man is the level of intensity of imagination that each possesses. With human beings, we have a lower intensity imagination and, therefore, we live or guide ourselves only by what our physical eyes can see. And so we perceive buildings that seem immovable and situations that seem stagnant, but when we live by faith, as Paul teaches, then we can verify that nothing is static and that what we imagine is as tangible as the chair we are sitting on. My brother Victor wanted to be a successful businessman and knew how to stay true to his vision. In 1924, when our family owned nothing, he imagined himself giving orders to an employee in a building, mentally visualizing himself as the owner of that place. He kept that same scene for years until one day, still as poor as the day he started that visualization, a recent acquaintance acquired the building for our family without any guarantee of repayment. 8 years ago, we sold that building to the bank for $850,000, having cost that acquaintance $50,000. Living by faith, when Victor passed by that building, he saw with his physical eyes the sign of FM or equipment company on the facade, but with the eyes of his imagination, he visualized the inscription James Goddard and Sons. Logic indicated that the building belonged to another, but his faith assured him that it was his. Let's walk by faith, as Paul suggests, and not only by what we can see. By reorganizing the structure of his mind day after day for a few years, Victor transformed our family's fortune. Hebrews 11 states, faith is the assurance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. As we experienced it indeed, everyone saw a sign on the building, but my brother saw a different one. We can all look at the same tree, but each one sees it differently. Like the name Victor, which for me means my brother, for another could be an uncle or a neighbor's son. The same name admits many versions, many interpretations. Something similar happens with a specific situation. A problem could be a headache for someone, but a challenge for another person. You have the power to live both by faith and by what you observe. If you currently live guided by what you observe, you become a reactive being, simply reacting to what you see, unable to alter the conditions in which you find yourself. Only when we live by faith do we become actors instead of mere reactors, and only then does our world change, because from that moment we begin to take control of our life. Paul states that no matter what he has done or failed to do, he leaves it all behind and moves towards what is to come. If you need money, apply the same technique as Paul, leave the past behind, in the place where it belongs. Don't bring it to the present in the form of regrets or traumas. Don't look back and turn into a pillar of salt like Lot's wife. The Bible uses salt in that narrative because it is a preservative that makes something remain the same for longer. You don't need anything external to change your life. You can start right where you are now, at this very moment. It's not necessary to cross the ocean to find a guru, nor prepare a table for a magical ritual. Simply, move forward with faith towards the best you imagine for your life and don't look back. Remember Lot's wife when you look back. You are about to take your prize that is right in front, as Paul taught. Ask yourself the following question: how would it be if at this moment, with absolute certainty, I were the person I want to be? Visualize that sensation, I repeat, vividly imagine, as if my voice were your voice. How would it be if at this instant, with total certainty, I were the person I long to be? And now, capture that sensation, embrace that feeling. Then, dress yourself with it, live day by day with that conviction. The path is by faith and not by what you see. If you make sure that your internal dialogues match the destiny towards which you are heading, everything will manifest in the best way for you. We have addressed this on another occasion. A seamstress who also designed clothes needed a certain amount of money. Therefore, she set out to imagine and, through her tactile imagination, held an envelope and, with her imaginative hearing, could hear the sound it produced when she began to open the envelope. Inside the envelope, she extracted the wad of money and began to count each bill. She performed this process for 7 nights. On the 8th day, she received a job offer and the amount they offered her was exactly what she had visualized for 7 consecutive days, not a penny more nor a penny less, the precise amount. Jokingly, she commented, "If I had known it would work, I would have imagined a larger amount. But I'm happy with what I received." Like her, she manifested the power of money in her mind and, after seeing it materialize, used 4 of her 5 senses to recreate that event. She smelled the money, heard the sound of the envelope opening, saw the new bills inside, and touched each bill. A woman who also attended my talks one day told me, "You know, Neville, something curious happened. You mentioned that we could obtain anything we wanted simply by imagining ourselves in possession of it." Well, this woman's name, well, we'll call her Christine. So one day, Christine saw a beautiful hat in the window of a department store on Broadway. It seemed expensive to her, but she was fascinated by it. She imagined herself leaving the store with the hat after having bought it. As she walked down the street, she could see the hat on her head reflected in the shop windows. At home, Christine continued to let her imagination fly and visualized herself placing a new hat in the closet instead of the old hat she actually owned. And for about 10 days, every time she put on the old hat, she imagined that it was actually the new one. Then, one day, a friend asked her to visit. At the friend's house, Christine was surprised when the friend took out of a box a hat exactly like the one she had been admiring days before and said she wanted to give it to Christine because she had bought it on impulse and hadn't liked it when she tried it on at home. Faced with this fact, Christine asked me, "Why didn't God give me the money to buy a hat instead of sending it to me through a donation?" Then I asked her, "Are you behind on rent?" And she replied, "Yes, 2 weeks, that's about 35. And I asked, "How much do you usually spend on a hat?" And she said, $3 or $4, for at most. The hat my friend gave me costs 17, 4 times more than I usually spend on a hat. Then I continued asking, "Be honest, Christine, if you had found a $100 bill on the ground the day you fell in love with the hat, would you have gone back there to buy it?" She said, "No, I don't understand." I said, "Since you wouldn't have bought the hat, then God bought it for you. Your desire was the hat, not the money with which you could buy it." This tale of faith and visualization is a powerful testimony to how imagination and belief in the unseen can transform our lives in unexpected ways. The story of Victor and his conviction in becoming a successful businessman, despite unfavorable circumstances, is a clear example of how our reality can be shaped by our beliefs and our ability to clearly visualize our desires. To delve deeper into this topic, it's important to highlight the influence that our beliefs have on our physical reality. Quantum physics, in its explorations of how observation can affect the state of particles, offers a fascinating perspective that aligns with Neville Goddard's teachings. According to this theory, the observer not only records reality but also creates it. Thus, what we believe and expect with conviction can influence the manifestation of our reality. Furthermore, neuroscience has demonstrated how our thoughts and emotions can shape our brain. Neuroplasticity, or the brain's ability to change throughout life, means that our habitual mental practices, such as visualization and positive affirmation, can have lasting effects on our brain structures and, therefore, on our perception and experience of the world. It is important, then, to practice visualization not only as an act of faith but also as a technique backed by science. By focusing on visualizing our desire as already realized, we are training our brain to recognize and act in accordance with that desire, facilitating its manifestation in our physical reality. The story of the seamstress and that of Christine illustrate how detailed visualization and faith in the realization of our desires can lead to their manifestation in unexpected ways. In these cases, precision in visualization and emotional conviction play a crucial role. By imagining not only the final goal but also the sensory details associated with its realization, such as the touch of money or the appearance of a hat, we are reinforcing the belief in its inevitability. To apply these principles in our lives, we can begin by clearly defining our desires, visualizing them with all our senses, and proceeding with faith, without allowing current circumstances to limit our belief in their realization. It is also essential to maintain an attitude of openness, allowing the universe to surprise us with the way our desires materialize, often in ways we could not have anticipated. Money is a means to an end. You can visualize yourself in possession of a certain amount for which you have no defined purpose, as the seamstress in the story I told before did, or you can visualize the final result, such as owning a hat or a building, as Christine and my brother Victor did. In any case, be specific and walk by faith. Live with that image only, without looking back like Lot's wife, more focused on the good that lies ahead, as Paul teaches. The highlighted phrase, "Only when we live by faith do we become actors instead of mere reactors, and only then will our world change because from there we begin to take control of our life." This concept of living by faith and becoming active creators of our reality rather than passive reactors to circumstances is a powerful paradigm shift. It encourages us to take responsibility for our lives and to actively shape our experiences through our beliefs and visualizations. To further expand on this idea, let's explore two additional subtopics that can enhance our understanding and practice of manifestation through faith and visualization. The role of emotional alignment and manifestation. While visualization and faith are crucial components of manifestation, the emotional aspect often gets overlooked. Our emotions act as a powerful catalyst in the manifestation process. When we align our emotions with our desires, we create a potent force for change. Consider the following points. Emotional resonance. The universe responds not just to our thoughts, but to the energy we emit. This energy is largely determined by our emotional state. When we can genuinely feel the emotions associated with our desired outcome, we create a stronger resonance with that reality. The heart-brain connection. Recent scientific research has shown that the heart has its own neural network, often referred to as the heart-brain. This heart-brain communicates with the cranial brain and can influence our perceptions, emotions, and health. By engaging our hearts in the visualization process, we can create a more holistic and powerful manifestation experience. Emotional rehearsal. By regularly experiencing the emotions of our desired reality, we're essentially rehearsing for that reality. This emotional rehearsal can help rewire our brain, making it easier for us to recognize and act upon opportunities that align with our desires. To incorporate emotional alignment into your manifestation practice. Engage all your senses in your visualizations, focusing particularly on the feelings associated with your desire. Practice gratitude for your desire as if it has already manifested. This helps bridge the gap between your current reality and your desired state. Use techniques like meditation or breathwork to cultivate positive emotional states that align with your desires. The quantum field and conscious creation. The concept of living by faith aligns closely with quantum physics principles, particularly the idea of the quantum field, a field of infinite possibilities that we can influence through our consciousness. Key points to consider. Observer effect. In quantum physics, the act of observation affects the behavior of particles. Similarly, our focused attention and intention can influence the manifestation of our desires. B. Superposition. At the quantum level, particles can exist in multiple states simultaneously until observed. This suggests that multiple potential realities exist concurrently. Our faith in visualization might be seen as collapsing these potentials into our desired reality. C. Entanglement. Quantum entanglement shows that particles can be instantaneously connected across vast distances. This principle supports the idea that we're all interconnected, and our thoughts and intentions can have far-reaching effects. D. Zero-point field. Quantum physics posits the existence of a zero-point field, a sea of potential from which all matter arises. Some theorists suggest that this field is responsive to human consciousness. Our faith in visualizations might be interacting with this field to manifest our desires. To leverage these quantum principles in your manifestation practice, cultivate a sense of certainty. When you visualize, do so with the absolute conviction that your desire is already manifesting. Practice non-attachment. While focusing on your desires, also cultivate a state of detachment from specific outcomes. This aligns with the quantum understanding that the act of observation influences reality. Expand your awareness. Regularly contemplate the interconnectedness of all things. This can help you recognize opportunities that align with your desires. Embrace uncertainty. The quantum world is probabilistic, not deterministic. Embrace the uncertainty in your manifestation journey, knowing that infinite possibilities exist. By integrating these concepts of emotional alignment and quantum principles into our practice of living by faith, we can enhance our ability to manifest our desires. We move from being passive observers of our lives to active creators, aligning our thoughts, emotions, and actions with the reality we wish to experience. Remember, the power to shape your reality lies within you. By cultivating unwavering faith, vivid visualization, emotional alignment, and an understanding of quantum principles, you can become a conscious creator of your life experience. Trust in the process, remain open to possibilities, and watch as your world transforms in beautiful and unexpected ways. May your journey of manifestation be filled with joy, discovery, and the realization of your deepest desires. Remember, you are not just living in the universe, you are the universe expressing itself as a human for a little while. Embrace your power, trust your intuition, and step boldly into the reality you wish to create.